Hey everybody, here we are again. Once the chainsaw blade, cutting the stump, and unbeknown to me, what I thought was one branch coming out was actually two that had fused together early on. They'd come out of the stump quite early on, but right at the stump there were two, and there was space underneath and soil was in it, and I cut down into the soil and it just stopped cutting because I bunted it. So I bought some sharpening implements. Bought a bit of a fancy one, cost £15. I've assembled that bit. That's just a carbide cutter, hopefully, onto a handle, and then you've got this bit that clamps on. I'll show you that shortly. You've got some spare blades and some other bits and bobs in there. That was about, call it 15 quid. I saw that and I thought, that looks fancy, I think I want one of those. But I wasn't entirely sure that it was going to fit. So I bought a cheap set, which are basically just 3 different files, will fit all chainsaws, plus the 3 different sizes of file. That one's too big. I'm suspecting that one's going to be too small. Yeah, sloppy fit. So probably the medium, so I could have probably got away with just buying one file. Well, that's the big one again. Hopefully that's the big one again. Yeah, that one's going to fit in. It'll take a bit of going to begin with because it's brand new. Well, it was a brand new blade. And then I still hadn't reached free postage limit, so I bought a third. This was mid-range, just over a tenner. This one actually files your tooth and the guide. See how it goes. Yeah. So that one should be fairly easy because you've got 2 bits to rest it on. You've also got those show you the angle. So the file's going to take the most skill because you've got to get both the correct, you've got to get it level and at the correct angle. This one probably going to take the most setting up, but from the instructions it's going to be the simplest to use. Put it on that way, I think. No, we'd have to put it on that way. Because what happens is you set it up. I'll do it that way just to show you. You set it up. This bit will be against the back of the cutting blade. You set it up so it's right, clamp it on, and then you screw that, and what it does is then pulls it that way slightly, and then you cut exactly the same amount off each tooth. Right, we'll give it a quick lash. Start with file, obviously. I say obviously, you'll have to do from both sides depending on which tooth you're doing. So the teeth alternate. So what you do is do all of these, move the chain. We've got some gloves somewhere. Right, rescued the gloves. So it would be better stood up, but then I'm probably out of camera shot. So I'll do it sitting. You file one tooth and then move to the next. Well, miss one because that's got to be filed from the opposite side, and then file that tooth. Miss one. File that tooth. And get a Sharpie. These are blunt as out. Colour the first tooth that you do, so then you know when you've done them all. So we'll start with that one. Yeah, I'm going to have to stand up. I only put pressure on the forward stroke. Take my glasses off because I can't see anyway. That feels reasonably sharp. So I'm going to do a couple of these. That seemed relatively easy. Let's try with this one. This one, that one. Yeah, both of them are fairly sharp now. Should have gloves on, but let's try setting this up. So you screw it on, so then that is just in line with the tooth. Set. Oh, in the wrong position, I think. Let me read the instructions again. that in there until it rests on the tooth, and then even it up, lock the two thumb screws on, take that out, tighten it up until that piece locks on the tooth, and then tighten it another quarter of a turn, and that moves the chain ever so slightly. Make sure all this is clamped up tight. There's a middle one that you can clamp the chain with, stop the chain from moving, and then it's literally a case of just and it winds all the way in. And then for this one, you've actually got to move the chain that direction. Then you can lift this pole up, not moving it, and then move the chain back. To the next tooth. I'm going to sharpen. It locks in position. This one is actually dead easy. And you have the added advantage that you sharpen each tooth exactly the same. Right, verdict. This one's a bit of faff, but once you've got it set on, dead easy. You just rattle through them. That's a little bit easier than the file, but not much. It's only about £5 cheaper than that one. And then the files are a little bit hard work to use, but cheap. Up to you. I think I prefer this one. We'll see how sharp it gets. Right. Wood is very nice. So, after a hard day's work, what's the verdict on them? This one is the most complex. I should have mentioned it comes with a little spanner to do the nut up, and it also comes with 4 spare abrasive rods. So it clamps on the blade of the chainsaw. This bit pivots up, so then you can pull the chain through and that just ratchets up, and then when you get to the chain that you want, or the piece of chain that you want to sharpen, what you have to do is set it up. You put that into the chain, and then when it's in the chain, clamp it all tight. Take it out, make sure the chain will move, and then you advance, you turn it clockwise, so it advances the chain, and you turn it about a quarter of a turn, half a turn, and then you just whiz that in, spin it round, advance the chain on again, do it again until all of the cutting blades of one side are done, and then reset it again for the other side. Sounds a bit complex, but it actually was the second quickest for sharpening. Not the quickest though. The all-in-one file, quite good. By the way, they all sharpen the chainsaw perfectly. This actually took the longest to sharpen the chainsaw. I used this about 4 times approximately. I used this one twice. It worked, did the job, so did the first one. And then I used one of the, I'll just get one out at random, one of the files, and I used the file twice, and these actually ended up being quickest. More difficult to use. That is, once you've set it up, it's so simple. You just wind it in, advance the chain, wind it in, advance the chain, wind it in. This one, you've actually got to, you do about between 5 and 10 strokes, but you need to do the same on each piece of chain. So then you're taking the same off each. And you've got to be careful not to dig too heavily on it. You're more of a sideways. If you like a toy, that works perfectly well and is reasonably quick. That's as hard work as a file and takes longer than a file. Mid-range. Files, cheap and cheerful and very quick. I do like the toy though. I do like the toy. But it's 3 times as much as the files. Right. Like, comment and subscribe. See you next time. Cheers. Bye.